Monday Morning Matters. Perspectives from Southeast Asia. Hey, this is Arlene.
Hello, this is Grace.
And we are live in the studio with Raja Azzraff. He is part of Academy Belia, but also he is the main person organizing the ASEAN Youth Forum. And with ASEAN Youth Forum, it's actually a platform for ASEAN youth voices as well as to address human rights issue within this region.
Right, and then we have successfully invited him to our studio to more and also to learn more about what ASEAN Youth Forum has been doing.
So, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good morning.
Such a very beautiful Monday morning. So what do you think this year's Malaysia being the chairman of ASEAN 2015? Do you see that there is a great hope towards realizing ASEAN community as well as having youth as the center stage?
Okay, as ASEAN Youth Forum 2014 in Myanmar has been seen as a huge success, Malaysia youth leaders are getting ready to host the ASEAN Youth Forum 2015 in Malaysia. We are trying at our best to organize the forum, try to implement the factors of the forum to create the platform for young people in ASEAN, together to raise the concern of youth with the unity of voices, problems, and to recommend to the leaders of ASEAN to put in depth consideration and to have influence on the policy making for the better and effective integration of ASEAN countries into one economic community. I'm interested on what you are asking just now on how do we try to relate ASEAN youth to the ASEAN community. So as we are aware, we have three ASEAN community pillars. ASEAN economy,
right?
ASEAN economic community, ASEAN political security community, and as well as ASEAN social cultural community. So I was suggesting to have a platform of discussion to actually integrate what we had last year in Myanmar, the Yangon Declaration, to be part of the ASEAN community, to together with it and coming out with the action plan of 2015 and how do we move forward as the ASEAN youth together with the ASEAN community, which is the vision of the ASEAN with the ASEAN government, and how do we integrate with the working authorities.
I would like to elaborate more on the Yangon Declaration, but before we go there, I think a lot of people might be questioning what exactly is AYF or ASEAN Youth Forum, because this is something that is very new in Malaysia. Although for the ASEAN People's Forum, it has started 10 years ago in Malaysia under the leadership of Tun Abdullah Badawi, the former Prime Minister of Malaysia. But for the ASEAN Youth Forum, it started quite recently in Thailand, especially in 2009, where the idea of having a platform for youth voices started. So if you were to explain what is the current objective and current focus, and also what exactly is the ASEAN Youth Forum, perhaps you can share more on this.
It's true. ASEAN People's Forum has been 10 years since the last chairmanship of Malaysia back in 2005. But this ASEAN Youth Forum is basically a new platform for Malaysia to host. This is the first time Malaysia hosting the ASEAN Youth Forum, but throughout the years, ASEAN Youth Forum has been the bedrock of empowerment and engagement toward the youth-driven ASEAN. It has been held in Thailand, as you mentioned, the first host of ASEAN Youth Forum in 2009, then going to Vietnam 2010, Indonesia 2011, Cambodia 2012, Brunei Darussalam 2013, Myanmar 2014, and finally here in Malaysia 2015, and hopefully next year in Laos in 2016. What I learned about it had been involving more than 500 youth leaders from the region and beyond, and provided space for to discuss issues, and having dialogue with various stakeholders, and to define this destiny with respect to their issues. But what they have come out last year is the Yangon Declaration, which is a declaration of ASEAN youth. And what we are trying to work on this year is how do we have the action plan to move it forward as a group of young people of ASEAN, as representing the youth towards making a better environment for ASEAN community.
Why do you think this AYF as a platform for youth is significant to youth in Southeast Asia? Because we see many platforms have been set up either by civil society or by governments or even by corporations to somehow empower and address issues related to young people. But why do you think this particular platform is not really more significant, but definitely significant to young people in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, why is it significant? Because it opens the opportunity to everyone, to the young people, I mean everyone young at age, to actually participate and raise the concern together with all the young people in ASEAN to ensure to give more comprehensive movement towards the young people. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of the youth programs. I mean, the youth summit for the young people in ASEAN this year. I believe there's gonna be ASEAN Youth Leader Summit in the second summit in November. It will be hosted by the Ministry of Youth and Sport in Malaysia. But this platform of ASEAN Youth Forum actually opens the participation from all stakeholders to give ideas. It doesn't really matter from the civil society organization, from the government-linked youth organization, NGOs, etc. So I believe this provides more freedom on discussing issues and making relevant points towards moving the ASEAN youth movement.
You mentioned a lot of points regarding the concerns among ASEAN youth, and I would love to ask you, what is the main concern coming from the youth in general? There are a lot of issues such as unemployment and also education, language barrier. It could be also one of the concern could be religion also. So what is the main concern coming from youth?
Okay, like I mentioned on the Yangon Declaration, they had a few issues outlined. Well, there are 7 main issues that they outline in the Yangon Declaration on the peace and reconciliation, on the good governance, democracy, and the freedom of expression, this decent work and livelihood. Yes, like you mentioned, quality education, the issue on sexual and reproductive health and rights, migration issues, and as well as the regional environment. I think these are the few issues that is pertinent to the young people, and I believe there are more issues that could relate to the ASEAN youth. That is why I think it's important to relate to the ASEAN community pillars, which has a more conclusive aspect on the issues of ASEAN people.
So we will take one short break. When we return, we will talk. We will explain more about what exactly is Yangon Declarations, and of course related to the larger aspect of the ASEAN community. Monday Morning Matters. Perspectives from Southeast Asia. Hey, this is Arlene.
Welcome back, this is Grace.
And of course, we are with Raja Azzraff, one of the National Organising Committee for the ASEAN Youth Forum Malaysia 2015. So, as usual, he shared with us a lot on the ASEAN Youth Forum, as well as highlighting the importance of the ASEAN youth voices and human rights. So, talking about ASEAN Youth Voices, of course, the main outcome last year was the Yangon Declaration. But could you explain to us the background of the Yangon Declaration and how it came about to this year?
Okay. What I learned about Yangon Declaration was it was discussed in ASEAN Youth Forum 2014 in Myanmar, in Yangon, to be precise, and that is why it is named Yangon Declaration 2014, or it is actually the ASEAN Youth Declaration 2014. Instead of coming out with statements every year, they changed the game plan to coming out to one declaration in 2014, which is, I believe, could drive the ASEAN youth movement in a more specific way. It was discussed with almost hundreds of ASEAN youth who gathered in Yangon, and the outcome of the Yangon Declaration was documented. You could find it online at www.aseanyouthforum.org, and it provides a few issues that I mentioned previously during our discussion just now, which is the peace and reconciliation, good governance, democracy, freedom of expression, decent work and livelihood, quality education, sexual and reproductive health, migration, and as well as the regional environment. The Yangon Declaration was actually presented during the interface meeting. What is the interface meeting? So the interface meeting is a session in the ASEAN Summit, which is the meeting of the state leaders representing the government of all ASEAN countries during the ASEAN Summit. Well, the youth would have a session. They had a session in Myanmar, and I believe we also have a session this year during the ASEAN Summit 2015. Well, going back to what happened last year, the Yangon Declaration 2014 was brought up during the interface meeting in the ASEAN Summit 2014, where 10 state leaders were sitting face to face having a dialogue, and they actually read out the declaration in front of the ASEAN state leaders, and in return, I think the ASEAN state leaders has come up with the Naypyidaw Declaration.
So the Naypyidaw Declaration, which was actually the capital city of or the place where all the parliament buildings and government buildings are centered. That's where the remark by the ASEAN leaders were being also documented.
It was documented in response to the ASEAN Summit 2014. During, I believe, in the second summit, where they talk about the ASEAN community taking into consideration all the words from the people of ASEAN. So I believe the Yangon Declaration has come into a stage. It was mentioned to the state leaders, and I believe this year what the ASEAN youth people should do is they should move forward towards that. How do we actually monitor the action plan of the ASEAN youth and the movement of ASEAN youth, and how is the voice of ASEAN youth is being heard by the relevant authorities.
Can you share with us more a bit of the content of the ASEAN ASEAN Youth Yangon Declaration, as well as the response from the Naypyidaw Declaration?
Okay.
you mentioned 7 of the key issues being highlighted in the Yangon Declaration.
Mhm.
Yep.
But what are the spirit and
Okay.
the essence of the Yangon Declaration?
In the Yangon Declaration, the ASEAN young people is aspire to promote the non-discrimination, equality, peace, protection, sustainability and inclusive development of the ASEAN community that are in line with the principle and values of human rights, democracy, justice and freedom in all aspects of our life. So it is the young people of ASEAN strongly calls for the creation of the sustainable, right-based, inclusive and people-centered and as well as youth-driven regional community. And what is in the Yangon Declaration as well is the call for affirmative action by the leaders of ASEAN countries to create the enabling environment at regional, national and local level, addresses the needs, fulfill the aspiration of young people and ensure the youth embracing post 2015 development agenda for the region. That is the thing that we're trying to tap in, the post 2015 development agenda. I believe that there should be a specific development of the youth movement, the youth voice in beyond 2015, that I would love to call it the way forward of ASEAN youth.
How about the issues that I don't know whether it's mentioned in the Yangon Declaration? How about the all just sexual issues regarding the LGBT and then the equality regarding that?
In 2014, they discussed it, and it is mentioned in the Yangon Declaration on the meaningful participation of youth in all sectors, with emphasis on young vulnerable groups, including adolescent girls, LGBTIQ, person with disabilities, indigenous people, religious minorities, migrants, stateless people, people living in poverty, language minorities, women, pregnant girls, children. I would list it. It is a long list. I believe it took consideration on all
aspects.
all aspect of people living in ASEAN.
And how are the responses, like Arlene mentioned just now?
Yeah, the responses, I believe the NAPIDO declaration,
Right.
the head of state of the government, as the member states of the Southeast Asian nation, ASEAN, they recall the spirit in ASEAN. Founding fathers gathered in Bangkok in 1967. They affirm the vision stated in ASEAN Vision 2020, to affirm the commitment for an ASEAN community 2009 to 2015, to realize it by 2015, which is this year. Is a big challenge for all the ASEAN countries to actually come towards the vision of 2015. And what they affirm more is how do they actually want to come out with the declaration on the ASEAN community's post 2015 vision that I can forecast they would have they will come out by the second ASEAN summit in November, which is to develop the ASEAN community's post 2015 vision with the aspiration to Southeast Asian region bound by one vision, one identity and one community. And they also recognize the achievement of the 3 ASEAN community pillars, which is political and security, economic and social cultural that I mentioned, and as well as the current emerging challenges that was faced by ASEAN. And I believe we as the young people of ASEAN should together come with this aspiration on the ASEAN community and move towards the post 2015 development of ASEAN community.
Right. There are 2 challenges here that I foresee. One is the challenges of different types of government ruling. As we all know, not every country in Southeast Asia are considered full democracy. Some are dictatorial, some are authoritarian based on authoritarian regime, military regime, communist, and some are moving towards more capitalistic. But in all essence, how can young voices be able to voice up their voices freely without the feeling of intimidation?
Okay, I agree, because when we talk about the ASEAN voice, we want changes. Everyone wants changes to be better. But in a way that we know that what you mentioned just now, it is unique. ASEAN is very unique in a way. Each country have a different environment. I mean, how do they
Political environment,
social environment, and as well economic environment. Thus, we should not just hope for an overnight changes. The change of that we want to see, it should go through a development process. Well, I believe some of young people, a lot of young people, or I don't say young people, a lot of people in ASEAN was trying to see changes overnight. I would suggest that it should go through a development process. I mean,
So you're saying it has to take rather steady and slower process rather than being impatient to see the result first.
Yep, it should go through processes which is because the uniqueness of ASEAN on having to integrate all the countries together,
right,
and bringing the voice back to the government and to the people.
Yep.
Which is that's why I would like to see, I would love to see the what is the development process of the post 2015 ASEAN community, and how do young people can progress with the development process. And it might take years, but there are steps, there are strategy to actually come with one community and to realize that there are potential in ASEAN to bring it up to the next level.
So the second challenge that I foresee is when we talk about the ASEAN community, regardless whether it's economic, social, cultural, or even political and security, we always put the priority or put the focus on how the market and business would benefit the whole of Southeast Asia. But in reality, why very seldom governments in Southeast Asia talk about human rights? And do you think the platform of ASEAN Youth Forum would gel well with the current governments in Southeast Asia's focus on business opportunity and market access?
Well, I agree. One of the most important pillars in ASEAN community is the ASEAN Economic Community (AEC) that will be launched later this year in Malaysia. Well, what I would love to see in ASEAN youth movement is to tap in on that, and why I agree as well on the focus of the government on seeing more on the business part of ASEAN, the economic parts of ASEAN rather than human rights, because they see that perhaps they could see the more opportunity to bring up the people of ASEAN, to bring the level of ASEAN economic level to a greater level, apart from looking into human rights issues. But I think these two issues, which is economic issues and human rights issues, can be correlated. When you have human rights issues, some of the human rights issues is actually affected by the economical issues. Some migrant workers, some other issues is closely related to that economic issues, when we could strengthen the economic of ASEAN countries, I believe some of the issues of the human rights can be solved. So in terms of that, the government of ASEAN, I think, should look closely beyond that. And as the young people of ASEAN who talks a lot about the human rights issues, we should also talk about the economical issues on how business opportunities, social entrepreneurship could benefit the young people in ASEAN. I think we should go beyond borders of ASEAN countries and bring the young entrepreneurs towards the next level, into coordinating them, relating them to other ASEAN countries. And it's not just ASEAN countries, they can go beyond that. Maybe can work in between ASEAN countries and go out to the world.
So we will take another one short break. When we return, we will discuss more with Raja Azzraff on the way forward and also concerns by Malaysian youth, a focus on Malaysia itself when it comes to the ASEAN community. Monday Morning Matters. Perspectives from Southeast Asia. Hey, this is Arlene.
Welcome back. This is Grace.
And of course, we are with Raja Azzraff. Hi.
Hi.
So we've been talking about all these matters and the concerns, and also explanation about AYF focus. And now we are moving on to the way forward, and as well as the participation for this AYF. So could you elaborate in terms of a participation rate among the Southeast Asia region for this forum?
Okay, for the past few years, I'd say there have been more than 500 young people have been gathering in all the hosts of the ASEAN Youth Forum. So this year, we actually opened the participation of ASEAN Youth Forum. You can go to the www.bit.ly/AYF2015. I repeat, www.bit.ly/AYF2015, and get the information and registration there, and you can have a bit of a idea of what ASEAN Youth Forum is through www.aseanyouthforum.org. And on the participation of ASEAN Youth Forum, what has been traditionally been done for the ASEAN Youth Forum participation is through the national focal points of all ASEAN countries, and they will be selected to the ASEAN Youth Forum 2015 and to represent the country, and as well as discuss on the issues of the young people.
Right.
Yep.
Talking about young people, of course, we cannot forget Malaysian youth.
Of course.
There's a lot of criticism over Malaysian youth, saying that Malaysian youth are not that concerned about political issues in this country. They are, in other words, apolitical. But do you agree with that? Do you think young people in Malaysia, they just mind their own business, just look at their phones and be active in social media, but they don't really talk about human rights or about their youth voices, highlighting their youth voices? Do you agree with that?
Highlighting the youth voices is very unique when we talk about youth. It is the age matter, whereas youth is defined by young people. So saying that Malaysian youth is a bit more, they couldn't care less about the issues of young people, I think I would agree with that, partly because being a Malaysian youth myself,
and leading Academy Belia.
Yeah, I would see that is not, we don't have that numbers of young people who actually have the concern on the issues of young people. So but we do have people the young people who actually fight for their for the issues of in general, the issues in Malaysia, taking into what Arlene said about being apolitical in a way. I respect on having a political stand, because being apolitical is also a political stand. So being involved in the movement or the voices of young people is another thing. I think we should do something on having Malaysian youth to participate in such thing. So perhaps the political participation, on the issues participation. So involvement of young people is very, I believe it's very important, because they are the one who's gonna lead the country in the next 10, 20 years. So like the awareness of Malaysian per se about ASEAN is very limited.
Yeah.
I think
It is limited,
Yeah.
but then if you put yourself in the youth shoes, right? They generally think that what can ASEAN benefit youth? I mean, most of them are concerned about what's going on locally, because when you think about all those universities and all college students, they create their own student movement when it comes to raising their voices against the government or certain society issues. But however, how many colleges and university students do raise issue regarding ASEAN? And that's also because of the awareness of ASEAN level is pretty low here in this nation, and also that's because that comes along with the benefits. They don't know the importance of the ASEAN benefits towards the youth in general.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, one of the concern, especially in terms of percentage, 60% of Malaysian youth or Malaysian in general do not know what is ASEAN,
Right.
or
Yeah.
what ASEAN can benefit them.
I've learned that the literacy of awareness of ASEAN, Malaysia is the lowest. So I would say that this year, as the chairman of ASEAN, Malaysian government or Malaysian authorities or any particular stakeholders could take action on that, to take advantage on being the chairman of ASEAN, to
Right.
actually bring the youth particularly to be interested in ASEAN agenda, and to believe that ASEAN agenda could also benefit the people locally, especially in Malaysia.
So go back to the question about what are the key issues that Malaysian youth are facing right now. If you can share some of it based on your understanding of Malaysian youth, if the government should be concerned about.
The issues of young people, I think I could list a few. Number one is the participation of young people. I agree on what Arlene said. As the young people would have had their time to just spend time on Facebook, Twitter, but not care less on other pertinent issues.
But do you really blame it on young people for being like that, or is it because the political environment in this country do not allow them to be able to think critically and be able to express their voices freely?
I think it's not just the political environment, but also in other sectors as well. Young people should be given opportunities to be in the decision making as well. Should be given the opportunity to be part of the high level task force as well, to be part of the their opinion should be taken into consideration as well, and as well giving the young people should be given the room to express. They shouldn't be stopped from giving the expression, because I'm going towards the other issues of young people, which is the freedom of expression. There's been a lot of issues in Malaysia. I think we should have a platform of discussion, young people should discuss and come up with the critical solutions and give critical ideas, critical resolutions towards a decision making, to make a decision making process, taking into account of what they are saying. And last but not least is perhaps the economic issues for young people. I think the cost of living for young people is actually should be taken into review on the budget of young people, the job opportunities for young people, and the education of young people. I think there are a few issues in Malaysia for the youth to concern.
I think you mentioned education rightly, because as far as I'm concerned, in South Korea, education, especially education in terms of asking young people to think critically, is one of the major focus.
In fact, the exam system, right, in South Korea especially, we had a lot of multiple choices before, but that didn't not help to, make people think critically. So what they've done, it's already amended a few years ago, is they've changed to the question and answer based on. So they will think, they will squeeze their brains to think. So that is sort of the one of implementation, and that was changed in education system.
Sorry, I have to mention about South Korea because you're from South Korea, Grace.
But it's a reality. They made it.
But
change.
education is one of the key area. If you want to have a thinking society, of course you can provide all the platforms and opportunity for young people to think, to express themselves. But at the end of the day, the quality of thinking is somehow lacking in Southeast Asia, and education reform should be the key agenda as well.
And they should also implement it's not all about the getting good grades after all, and getting a good grades from the exams. It's all about how you implement all this knowledge that you learn in the school to society in reality when you step out to get a job and to talk to other people. All the soft skills are also very important in part of education.
And not just in terms of skill, but also in terms of civil mindedness. I think a lot of advanced country they have this idea of an ethical society that is lacking in a lot of countries in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I think what ASEAN countries, especially ASEAN youth, could do is taking into example this more developed country, and especially on the education sector, the educational reform. I think there should be more towards the critical skills in education system. I agree on what Grace have said just now on actually putting that skills into the young people, especially during their younger days as school students.
Yeah. So before we end the show, perhaps you can share again how young people in Southeast Asia can connect with yourself and also the organizing team in terms of participation towards the ASEAN Youth Forum.
Okay, I can actually repeat that again, how to register with ASEAN Youth Forum. We got as for now, I think we already have hundreds of people registered to us.
That's very good news.
Close to 400 people, so be quick. Or you miss this chance to be part of the ASEAN Youth Forum. Go to www.bit.ly/AYF2015. I repeat, www.bit.ly/AYF2015. Or to get more information on ASEAN Youth Forum, www.aseanyouthforum.org. I repeat, www.aseanyouthforum.org, or you can visit our website as well, www.academymelia.com. We should keep you guys posted, and we have our own official ASEAN Youth Forum 2015 page. We can also keep you posted in Facebook at the page official ASEAN Youth Forum 2015. So be quick. The places are limited. So
If there's a contact number that they
Yeah.
can be in touch with.
Can call me. Malaysian can call me at +6019 2140 724. I repeat, +6019 2140 724. Or anyone around the region can WhatsApp me at +614 1016 2513. Can WhatsApp me at +614 16 102513, or can connect me through Twitter at Azzraff Azmil, at AZRAFF AZMIL, AZRAFF or just add me on Facebook, Azzraff Azmil.
But you're
Yep.
not that active on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not that active, but I can respond to some messages or anything.
Anyway, all the best for ASEAN Youth Forum.
Yep,
Hopefully,
thank you.
this will be a great platform for young people to connect not just with the government but with other young people in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, okay. Before I forgot, can also email me at r.azraff@academybelia.com, r.azraff@akademibelia.com. Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
so much, Arlene. Thank you for inviting.
No problem. Well, we have a few contacts that people can touch, and hopefully we see more participation from Malaysia.
Yep.
Thank you.